Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, you have my official 6'9" center build in NBA 2K25. I have yet to put out an official build video on this, and we've had tons of different gameplays that actually feature this in the videos and stuff. So I wanted to actually bring this to you guys, drop some Sigs and stuff. I have yet to have done that all year, where we haven't done anything as far as showing you guys the dunk packages I run, the ball handling, dribble Sigs and stuff like that I run, as well as just overall the whole build that I'm on. And this is for Pro-Am as well. So the role that it plays is a pick and roll, obviously center, where it's meant to be the offensive rebound crasher, the screen setter, the pick and roller, where you can get to the basket as like the dunker, if you will. And we obviously implement a lot of different offensive sets within our team, if you will, where you've seen it maybe if you've already watched a couple videos, where we have post scorers out the corner. So we have Tonic and Joey who are on like stretch posts. So they play the 4 and the 5, and I play the technical 3, if you will, where I'm the third tallest player on the court. But with them going for the post-ups and stuff, me having the 96 O board, as well as just the good strength for the box-out beast and all that included, as well as being still a good pick and roller when implemented with my guards, is really useful and valuable. And then you also add on the fact that I guard the other team's center as well. So with 85 steal, good enough to still be in the lanes of the gold interceptor, 84 block for the silver paint patroller, and then we have the 88 interior D that also is meant to be a 2v2 build. You guys have seen this on the channel on the 2s court, where I'm playing the 1 and then Tanner's at the 2 with the stretch, and I'm literally like switching on to post scores. I'm still doing the offensive rebound crashing. All of this is really useful and has been used multiple times throughout the course of the year, and this has probably been what I would call my main build in 2K25. Now, I will say, and I know we're taking a little bit of time to get into this video, but I just want to preface a couple things here. I will say I definitely prefer my 6'8" when it comes to park gameplay, like threes and stuff like that, being more mobile, super fast, having the super high steal, like 94 steal with 88 blocks, stuff like that too, 92 prim D. I love it. And the drawback to the 6'8" compared to the 6'9" right here is that the maximum offensive rebound really caps out at like 85. Whereas this right here can obviously attain a 96 rating while also having the strength to go along with it to get the brick wall and stuff like that. Also, being 6'9", as far as the max plus ones, you can run a really good value combination between rebound chaser and brick wall being in the tier 1, tier 2. So really extreme value when it comes to that. On 2s, I sometimes run dimer instead of brick wall because with me at the 1 and Tanner at the 2 with the stretch big, sometimes it's just obviously something that we've cheesed where the matchups get me on the guards and then he's on the bigs. So they try and switch that. We can manipulate that and get easy catch and shoots for him because of the fact that the big wants to drop and help. But anyway, point being, just wanted to go ahead and show you guys the build, talk about all the attributes and why we have them, and then detail the Sigs and stuff like that as well. Alright, so as for those Sigs, I have a lot of different details that we're going to talk about, things that I've tested, things that, I took other people's, expressions and stuff like that, and just their advice and opinion. So let's start with the motion style. This is a very important one to know. Obviously, you can see I've tried Jokic, Ayton. A lot of this has been word of mouth through 2K Toots. Shout out to him. He's really helpful with this information. And a lot of my subscribers were trying to put me onto Suggs early. So I went with it, and I'm a big believer in it. And now statistical data has proven Suggs is actually also one of the top as well, as far as just the actual movement speed. Now, I guess technically speaking, Caruso's up there. There's also a couple more if you want to check them out, feel free to. But Suggs is the one I'm running on the build, and I'm a big fan of. Now, as far as like the Sigs and stuff, you're going to see a lot of non-meta stuff in here because for sure, you have stuff like step back animation where I have 80 ball handle, and most people out there, you'd be like, why would you not be running Zach LaVine snatchback at that point? This is one of the best dribble moves in the whole game. Problem is, you have to be able to shoot to really get the most of this. And obviously, as you guys can see, if you're new to the channel and didn't know about the build already, I'm on a pier inside. So what I want is just things that are a little bit more quick into getting into the animation, and I don't really use the step back too much. I also like the pro step back just as an animation to be using in the half court setting, aka like the actual step back animations you get out of it. So I'm a decent fan of it. Same with the KD Hezi, really good in the half court. And I'm sure I'll give you guys a full breakdown as far as like the dribble moves that I do and stuff like that. Most of it is downhill dribble movement though. And I will say like the pro crossover and the Jason Tatum behind the back, I was trying things like pro behind the back early, and this is decent. Obviously as a slasher, it's something that's good at getting downhill and flipping the ball hand. But Jason Tatum, once again, even after, I tried it last year as well on my 6'10", unfortunately this year you have to be, under 6'10", aka you can be somewhere from 6'5" to 6'9" to be able to get the Sig. Really unfortunate that you don't get it on 6'10" builds again. And I don't know, you're a little bit limited for sure when it comes to the dribble Sigs as a big, unless you can afford that that Giannis crossover, which man is crazy by the way, that it's height capped where you have to be at least 6'10", and then you have to have 74 plus ball handle. So quite literally, the only build in the game that can get Giannis crossover is a low wingspan 6'10". It's kind of insane. It doesn't even have to be a low wingspan. I think it's just a non-max, if you will. Just a couple ticks down. But either way, 6'10", only build in the game that can get this dominant, super good crossover. So I'm rocking Pro. It's plenty good, plenty usable. I like it for the tween and the crossover. If you want just a crossover, I would say Lonzo Ball is a really good cross animation. There's a couple other that I've tested out with, like, you know, Zach LaVine. I just think it's a little too slow for my liking. And then Josh Giddey as well. Same with Jimmy Butler. It was very side to side, and you can see it gets downhill pretty decent. But it's like the same thing as Pro, just a little bit worse. So long story short, you can get it with 70 ball handle. Why not? You know, the tween is so good on this. It's the same thing that I ran last year. And then obviously same with the Tatum behind the back, like I just said. Same thing I ran last year, and it's super good at flipping that ball hand. This is the animation you're looking at right there as far as actually flipping the ball hand. And you can still do that standstill behind the back as well, technically speaking. But yeah, we'll detail what a lot of these look like. Same with the Jimmy Butler escape moves. Just really good side to side. It's not like you really need this as far as crabbing people or anything, though. It's just more so getting into what really is the biggest pillar of the dribbling on this build is the Zion dribble style. And a lot of this is just based on you do a dribble move and you run to your offhand. And as you can see, it's only a requirement of a 60 speed with ball. Really clutch. The build has 68 just for the bronze lightning launch and stuff like that as well. Simmons Sigs size up just to switch the ball hand back and forth quickly. And if you ever want to utilize the D-Book aggressive breakdown combo, it's really good at just jolting you forward if you were, let's say, trying to get into a standing dunk while you're just kind of dribbling the ball around in the free throw line area. So D-Book aggressive breakdown combo, also very valuable. If you want something else that, you know, could also be decent for that, normal is okay, but let's be real, you don't got a crazy high standing dunk to be doing like standing meter dunks or anything like that. So it's not like it's the same thing as how we were utilizing it last year with a 90 standing dunk or anything like that. Layup style, I was trying a lot of these out. I was trying to see if they affect your standing layup animations, and I do believe they do at least a decent bit, as well as you got things like Simmons that have really good gathers and stuff, but the X button lays are just terrible. It's just a little too wonky for me, as well as it was kind of that running hook shot that you saw right there as well. So Zion is what I'm rocking with. It's a plenty basic X button layup. You got decent close shot as well. I mean, granted, that animation right there, I don't really see play out very often. I know it's shown in the preview a lot, but I don't see it ever. But point being, it's good for the standing lays, it's plenty good for the X button lays, and also still good for the gathers as well. So I don't really have any big beefs with it. Same with George Gervin, also like terrible X button lays. As you can see, it's a lot of those like really bad kind of, yeah, underhand layups, if you will, and that's not something you want to be doing consistently. I was trying default swing, default small a little bit. You could try them out a little bit as well if you would like, but yeah. And then, hey, this is the sleeper right here. J. Cole free throw. It's really nice because if you use any build, any height, you don't have to worry about the height restrictions on them. And I'm a big fan of it. I mean, we could check out, you know what? I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here. Let's go ahead and go to my 5v5 free throw stats. And on a pure inside all year so far, you can see I'm at 71.2%. I guess, granted, I've had a couple of games at guard, but not many free throw attempts. I will assure you that. So it's been keeping me a decent free throw percent, even though this is actually the best free throw rating build I've had all year, 62. Besides that, I mean, granted, like I said, I was on guard a little bit, but for like the Pro-Am runs, it's been a lot of like 55 to 52 free throw because the close shot has been lower, because the tether is also linked to the offensive rebound. So like I was just telling you guys, how I have a 94 base offensive rebound right here and use the cap breaks to get to 96, it obviously pulled up the close shot along with it. If I'm on a build with 85 offensive rebound, it doesn't pull up the close shot as much. And I'm not one that wants to put a bunch of crazy ratings on my close shot or driving lay, to be completely honest with you. So here we are. We haven't talked about the cap breaks either. So as you can see, I created the build with 90 driving dunk and 94 offensive rebound, but I am a big believer in the whole idea of going with 93 driving and the 96 offensive rebound. If I had to pick one or the other, definitely going with the offensive rebound at 96. Big fan of that. If you want to cut out on something, you could get away with 89 driving dunk if you really would like to. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and get over to the Sigs now. So let's just go ahead and, or my bad, not even the Sigs, the driving dunk packages. So for these, I just got a couple baseline reverses, anything like super crazy. And then as you can see, obviously every contact dunk package we can get active. It's only the pros though. Pro off 1, pro off 2. We can't get the elite off 2, and obviously you guys know we can't get the smalls or anything like that either. And elite off 1 is unbelievable stupid requirements. I mean, bro, are we serious? 99 driving dunk, 90 vertical. It's just ridiculous, bro. But anyway, I've unlocked quick drops, right? So this is obviously something that's really good. But I'm going to suggest a lot of things to you guys that you can actually afford. So we have the side clutches off 1. Once again, that is starter 4 restricted, or whatever the rep is actually called. I'm pretty sure it's starter 4. But anyway, point being, you can't get side clutches, you can't get quick drops for most of you guys out there watching. So I believe Uber Athletic Tomahawks off 1 to be really good dunk package is what I was running for the most part, and I would even still suggest it. Now, you will see, I actually don't have a lot of NBA player dunk packages equipped, but that's because of the fact that I have quick drops and side clutches off 1. I know you don't see that I have Devin Booker purchased, but that's because I learned about it pretty much after I had already unlocked these animations right here. So come to find out, D-Book is literally quick drops, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I know it mixes in a couple different dunk animations, but if you hold up on your right stick, it will give you the quick drops adjacent animation way more often. And I've seen my teammates, that animation right there. Seen my teammates run this. It's the most ridiculous value animation you could possibly have, and all you have to do is be under 6'10" to get it. So for those of you out there that can't get the quick drops or side clutches, Devin Booker's really good. LeBron James is also a really good dunk package, really affordable for that matter too. And I know we're doing a build detail video, so every one of you out there who's considering making this build will be able to get this, and even with slight modifications or anything like that. But yeah, it's still a really good dunk package for sure. I just have taken it off because, like I said, I feel I have some more dominant dunk packages to work with. And then Michael Jordan as well, I have to say, it's looking kind of crazy, fellas. I don't run it because I don't like the variance of the dunk meters that it gives, where if you get that little, I'll wait for it and I'll point it out. I'm pretty sure it's this animation. Yeah, the cradle dunk package that you get out of the MJ. I don't like it. Like I said, it really screws up my preference of the dunk meter attempts, if you will. And it's just obviously a slower dunk. You don't like that one to pop up. However, if you are a guard out there, or even someone who wants to play as a little bit more of like a ISO player on this, the problem is obviously people will sit low on you, but you can activate the free throw line dunk almost every single time as long as you hold down on the right stick. It's actually a really dominant dunk package when you guys unlock this, so if you do have any interest in it, absolutely feel free to check it out. I accidentally just backed out of this, by the way, but anyway, as far as the alley-oops, I don't run anything specific. I've tried cutting them down a little bit and running more specific, but I really started looking around at them and I was like, I don't know, all of 3 of these actually provide pretty good value, and why ever take a contact alley-oop off either? So just didn't make any sense to do, in my opinion. If you have any other suggestions in the comments, feel free to, as far as like NBA player dunk packages, but for the most part, I think we addressed pretty much everything that's ever worth running. I guess you could argue Westbrook in some cases, but I don't really believe this to be an actually like great dunk package. And it's really more so because of, we'll wait for it to play out. It's one of the, like, it kind of is like a, yeah, that right there. It's like a 2-foot really delayed dunk package that, I don't know, I'm just not a fan of, especially when you're a pick and roller and you're dealing with people chase down blocking you and stuff like that. It's just not in my wheelhouse of preference. We'll just put it as simple as that. And then for the standing dunk packages, obviously I'm running both 40 and 45 as far as the requirements for that. You don't get the next one until 65, and we can't afford that as far as how we created the build. So yeah, that's the dunk packages that you're looking at. So now let's go ahead and actually get into the my court real quick. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of, just rundowns on how we actually do this dribble move performance, but nothing too crazy. It's not like a unbelievable dribble tutorial or anything. All right, so actually we're gonna head to the Pro Am Arena. Shout out to the jerseys and the logo and the arena and everything. Oh, it looks so clean. But anyway, we're gonna head to the Pro Am Arena to actually show some of these, because a lot of what I do want to show you is gonna be for downhill movements and stuff. So as far as behind half court movement, obviously the blowout dribble is something that we really want to get to. And all you have to do for this is be sprinting and then flick up on your right stick. Boom. Blowout dribble, blowout dribble. It's like a plenty good way to get you up the court. With Zion, it's a decent animation as well. There are better out there for sure. Like Giannis dribble style is insane for like pushing the ball up the court like that. But besides that, we do still want to talk about some of the crossover and behind the back animations to do. So for instance, with the tween and the cross, you'll see both these animations are really good. So I want to like kind of display them both. So really it doesn't matter which one you do, or if you just kind of do another one by accident or anything like that, because they both serve the same purpose of just flipping your ball hand and doing it pretty quickly. Like right there, first one tween, second one cross, as you just saw right there. Or also the behind the back to just, flip the ball hand and like get downhill with it as well. Still very good, I would argue. And I know slashing this year does feel a little bit nerfed overall, I would say, but a lot of these moves are still pretty good. Now, last year, I had a lot of different crazy combos you could do. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I'm gonna find a clip from last year and show you what I was doing on the 6'10" point center. All right, so let's go on a nice little blast to the past on 2K24. Man, so good with the dribble movement, if you ask me. And now we can't do anything like this anymore, and that's why I do want to show it to you. So like, for instance, we got the snatch back into running to the offhand right away, right? And then into a behind the back off it. But I canceled the behind the back with it. So like, we're doing a lot of different movement with that. Fake the behind the back straight into another snatch back, cancel into a tween. I mean, we were doing some crazy stuff last year on this point center build. And the problem is, you can't do any of it anymore. You can't do any of this type of movement where you cancel it into like another kind of offhand move. And let's talk about another problem too, is that this is no longer a thing either. 8 million, millisecond dunk meter where you're just gonna be able to spam it in like, the blinders aspect to it and all. Listen, the dunk meter logic was terrible last year, but it made it a dominant, crazy, overpowered thing. The dunk meter this year is not quite as good. So a lot of times you kind of have to be capable of being a pick and roller more than a slasher with this build, if you ask me. And that's important to know because, again, we already have a Hall of Fame brick wall. The lob catching and stuff like that is extremely good, and the contact lobs are good if you've watched that previous video as well. But yeah, you can't come out here and do stuff like this. Even though this build was 6'10 and now we're looking at a 6'9, you still can't even emulate any movement like this at all. It's really unfortunate. So like, let's just show how sloppy it would look if I tried to do any movement that was like that this year. So it would just be a snatch back into an offhand run into the behind the back, but like you could cancel the behind the back and you'd be able to like just segue into other moves super quick, super clean. Now here's the problem: sometimes you get that garbage behind the back animation right there. It's not seamless, it's not as like clean with the movement. As you can see, like right there, I'm trying to do the actual big Tatum behind the back, which is this right here, but because I'm moving downhill, the game doesn't allow me to actually move like the way that it's desired sometimes, like that. That's how we want to do it, preferably on every one of them. But it's just, I don't know, maybe I haven't labbed up enough on this game to understand the inner workings of like the timing on the dribbling and stuff like that. But man, it's just annoying that you do have to wait that out so much. And it does limit the type of movement that I prefer to end up doing on this. And that's even more so to the point of the driving dunk meter is not quite as good. I would even argue last year's normal dribble style was maybe even better than the Zion dribble style, but this is the best we got for like bigs out there. So this is the Zion dribble style. I think it's plenty good compared to anything else you can look at in this game, and especially for the wing builds. I mean, actually, I should clarify. Obviously, there's things like Garland dribble style, Trae Young dribble style for the small guards that are way better, but this is the best you can get for the wing builds, and it's plenty decent. You just flick to any move and then just run to your offhand. It gives you a plenty good speed boost. You could even argue doing like a hezzy, let's say, so you could just hit RT, boom, do a hezzy and go straight to that offhand again. Same goes for the Jimmy Butler escape move if you wanted to do that instead and then run to your offhand as well. It has a little bit more of a load up, obviously, as you can see. And yeah, like I told you, with the step back Annie, we just want to be able to get into the offhand run a little bit quicker. So like, we don't want that Zach LaVine step back that takes like 8 years to get into or anything like that. But obviously, if you're a shooter, it's a little bit more valuable to you. Now, other than that, we have the D-Book aggressive breakdown combo where if you just like, let's say you were standing about right here, but you didn't want to like move your left stick to get in here and you just want to flick up on the right stick instead, we could even go back a little bit further. So you can like do a move from right there and then just get a little bit closer, more ideally in dunk range. So I guess we'll just go more along the lines of like right here. And if you let it play out a little bit, you could probably get into a dunk, as you can see. And it's good for when you're in a pinch, if you ask me, while you're underneath the basket or just randomly, trying to move around in this area. I haven't done a ton of it in this year's game because it's just tough, man. A lot of people do sit very low because they understand that they don't have to respect your guards in the pick and roll quite as much because this year's game is obviously a lot harder to shoot. It leads to you being a lot tougher to involve in terms of like slips and reading back-end defenders. In this year's game, you got to be a really good screen setter, and then you just got to be a lob option on the cuts and stuff like that a little bit more off the screens. So it's tough. It's definitely a tougher game to make things work, but as you've seen in the videos and stuff like that, it's still a plenty capable build. And also, to be fair, a build with these ratings wasn't even possible to play on last year because the standing dunk meter was so overpowered. So to come out here with a build that had a 50 standing dunk while playing as a pure inside would be terrible idea. But in this game, it allows the justification of having a build that can actually be guarding the pick and roll because you can make a build with 85 prim, 85 steal, good block, good interior D, capable rebounder, and then still be able to get the contact lobs, the dunks in general off the pick and roll, and still be able to perform standing dunks and close shots when necessary. It's not meant to be a dominant paint presence as far as underneath the basket, but it gets the job done, and when you're playing with good guards, they can set you up pretty good. But again, it's more it's more about its defensive presence than anything, and its rebounding power and the screen setting while still being fast as a good screen setter, which is a valuable thing in this game. Like I said, if you're on a 7-3 with like 95 strength, your speed is very likely a 50 something, and that's bad. That's really, really bad, and that's why you see a lot of, small, undersized bigs dominating this game. And granted, not all of them are insides by any means. There's a lot of poppers that are like 6'7" and stuff like that in this game when it comes to playing the stage 3s and the 2v2 and stuff like that. For 5s, it's more along the lines of, let's say, 7-footers, but they struggle to get open on the pick and roll sometimes because of their lack of speed. And in this case, being 81 speed, 91 strength, good agility. I do want to talk about the takeover that I run as well, because this is very important to know. Slice, really, really good, giving you a speed, agility, and driving dunk boost. And I mean, that is just the dream combo for a build like this, that you want to be able to be agile on the back end and be switchable on defense. So the agility buff obviously makes it way easier to stick with the guards. Speed, doing the exact same thing while also buffing you on offense, because now you're a pick and roller with 87 or 88 speed on level 4, level 5 takeover. Poster machine, really good takeover still, but it's tough because you will lose it a lot easier because of you trying to maybe more so force the dunk meters and stuff like that. Whereas if you're running like a glass take like Horse, or maybe even, let's say, Board Beast or something like that. Horse is probably a better idea for this build, though, because the O board is already close to 96, so that +2 you get +3, it's already getting to maximum. But anyway, point being, something like Horse is a lot easier to not end up losing because you're not going to force yourself into activating the takeover. Like when you're on something like Slice, right, with the poster machine, if I'm going for a meter dunk and I don't get it to work, it's going to be a bad shot selection every time, because generally when you go for the meter dunks and you don't make them, it's usually a very early or a very late. There's very rare occurrences that it pops up as like a slightly early or slightly late or something like that. But point being, if you're on something like Horse, you can't really do anything to screw up your rebounding take. If you have glass take with See the Future, which I've made a separate video on of how this is a really good takeover, you just kind of sit below the basket and just wait for your teammates to take the shots, or even just, crash the boards like crazy with that crazy vert and like rebound ratings, and just completely hawk out the sky, knowing where the ball's even going to go when you get level 5 take completely maxed out. So overall, a lot of different ways to go about utilizing this build, whether it's for the 2s, playing as a glass cleaner, playing on the 5s as like the back end on defense and the pick and roller on offense. You can even guard ball with this if you would like as well. In my opinion, you might have to be a little bit more limited in the press game with like 81 speed and, silver on-ball menace and challenger and stuff like that. But, I mean, realistically, it's a very versatile defensive build. Still brings a lot to the table in the transition game with your ability to be fast with the ball in your hand and the ball handle itself to give you some good sigs for the downhill moves like the pro cross and the Tatum behind the back. Good pass act to fit into being like kind of a secondary passer, if you will, where you can catch it on the pick and roll. You still got to make your dots to the open corners off the rotations or the hash, if you will, or obviously for break throwing as well. So it brings plenty to the table while obviously lacking shooting, clearly. But it's up to you, man. If you think an inside build is for you in this game, I think something like this is the best bet as far as 5s. If I'm playing on a 6'9" instead of the 6'8", you can bet this is probably the best move for you playing 5s as well, because if anybody gravitates toward the undersized bigs, it's definitely me. But it's a little bit tougher to justify the 6'8s just because of the lack of, let's say, strength that I had on it. And, obviously it's great speed, but you got to be able to grab the offensive rebounds as a pure inside big in this game. And in a game where a lot of people are running a 99 defensive rebound, it's tough to compete if you don't have a high O board. So that's just our take on it. So that's the build. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try to one to 2,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put 6'9" in the comments, short support your mail all the way through. Anyway, that's all, fellas. I hope you enjoyed, and I just obviously wanted to give you a full detailed description on all the animations I run and the badges, the max +1s, the ratings and stuff like that on the build, because I haven't really given a whole searchable place to find this video, if you will. It's just been buried in like different videos of me just playing on the build. But anyway, that's all. I hope y'all enjoyed. None of that. Take it easy, man. Peace.